Well, I finished my memoirs.
Ta-da!
Oh, what a memorable day that is. But now, the question I want to ask all of you is, do you think that I deserve fame and fortune at 80? I don't have too much time left to enjoy it. Well, I've been on reading and reading my history about the 300-year history of women's fight for women's rights, the vote, just all sorts of things. And it really came home to me that one of the reasons I've had such a hard time becoming a published writer is because I'm a woman. A woman. Men, unfortunately, are stronger than women. And in a pitched fight, a woman is apt to lose. And I think that is
I think that's
why,
disgusting.
Why women have so often lost the battles to get equal rights because, they start intimidating. And this first volume is really all about my battle with my dad, and then ultimately the school, the university, on, trying to be able to say what I think instead of being suppressed all the time. And, my theory is that Utah was particularly repressive of women, because look at it, polygamy. This state was once full of polygamists, and they hadn't really given up that idea, even though they weren't practicing anymore, the mainstream. There was still polygamous sects all over the state that were carrying on, that refused to give it up, and the Utah people, when I was growing up, they didn't talk about this much to the outside world because they'd been made fun of, and everybody would always ask a Mormon how many wives they had. It was really hard to throw off this. And even today, Warren Jeffs and his brand of polygamy has put a black mark on Utah again.
I'm going to ask you a very personal question here. How much help do you think you're going to get publishing this little novel, or the first volume, from the people up north of our border?
In Utah? How much support?
I just thought I'd ask that because
my goodness
you're getting serious here.
I've read a number of the fundamentalist women, some of the rebels that have run away.
That's a fundamentalist
and written their memoirs.
This looks like something out of the American Gothic, by right?
They have run away and left polygamy and wrote about how their struggle to escape it. Well, in Mormon Utah, my struggle was not to escape polygamy, because although my grandmother, some of my grandparents were raised in polygamy, or grandparents, and some weren't. But there was still this philosophy of life, because look at polygamy. How equal are women considered to be if you can have 7 of them, 7 wives?
A mere pittance, my dear, a mere pittance.
One man is equal to 7 women? Oh, so this business of trying to...
Where did you come up with this 1 in 7 thing? Is that something?
Well, yeah, that was
from Joseph Smith's,
no, that was the ideal that a man really needed 7 wives.
I did not know that.
Fulfill his
I did not know that.
Capacity.
I have been married 4 times. I'm not going 3 more.
Well, these were all at the same time.
Oh,
That's 7 wives.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, David.
So you can imagine.
I have to go 3 more times.
And I've always thought, well, if men had to put up with 7 husbands from each woman, now that would be more like it. But, I found out that if you start telling men that they need to be just as just as open-minded. When you like somebody, and most men can't even stand for you to even like anybody, let alone marry them, you know.
What?
Let alone have 7 husbands.
What?
And I just like to see how men
That doesn't make
react.
any sense to me.
Well, it doesn't make any more sense than 7 wives.
Listen, when
Now they were able
I
to...
heard, no, wait a minute, I heard one thing years ago, before I ever come out to this part of the this is godforsaken country. This is moron country. Well, I'm sorry, Mormon country. Because guys got more than one wife? Yeah. Well, don't they call that bigamy or something?
Polygamy.
No, pigamy, get it? He's hogging other wives. It's bigamy, right? Oh, man.
Oh. And you know, and I've always thought, what about the women that could be persuaded to accept this? You know, they must not have a strong sense of, never have a strong sense of being unequal to a man. And, but my mother was always trying to prove to my dad that she was just as equal as he was, and so she sort of practiced this having more than one, and see how it worked. Well, it
Wait a minute.
constant.
Wait a minute. I think I caught a little
constant,
innuendo there. You know, I mean, she's having more than one boyfriend. You know?
Yeah. And while you're
See,
married,
now,
you know this.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
found out
something
that
right
this is
now.
highly dangerous.
My
No, there is
first wife, when I used to come home from work, I'd see a lot of the kids, all right, they were kids, nice. A lot of the guys I knew from high school, they would be at my house.
And you didn't like that very well, did you? You didn't like sharing your wife with some other
kidding me?
boyfriends.
She wasn't sharing herself with me. I figured if these guys get lucky, good for them, you know. Wow.
Well, every time.
Different attitude about life.
And so when I married, I didn't try to go all the way with any other man. I just tried to be friends with them. You know, I would say.
Go all the way?
Yeah, well, I didn't go have an affair because
did you go to
then I would
second
have to lie
Did you go to third
and
base?
risk getting killed. And so my idea was, when I got very, very bored, you know, I would bring home a man that I was attracted to
That explains my first wife.
and say, but did she say? I would say, well, let's all be friends here.
Yeah, but she has to have two
And
of them at the same
that way, I won't be tempted to go off and do something I shouldn't. If we can all talk and be friends.
Why can't we all just get together, you know?
No, and I didn't mean that we should be swingers and that we should
Wait a minute.
do
That's just-
anything like that. I just wanted to be friends, you know, talk.
Swing.
Just start
You
off,
don't know what a swinger is. You think
And-
that's something coming out of a tree.
But more than likely, after the man left, I would be attacked and beat up for daring to.
Now, wait a minute. Wait.
And I thought, but what's the
Beat
solution?
up?
The solution, when you have been married this guy for quite a long while, you're getting very bored, and you
How
need to
long
be
is it
able
quite a
to
long
talk.
while?
2 or 3 years or something like that. 3
was
or
only a
4.
couple of days or something.
This, and just try to introduce the idea of just being friends with other, especially if the other one was attractive. So all my life, you know, I attempted to.
I imagine you didn't bring a lot of trolls home, right?
No.
Hey, look what I got. Ruff, ruff.
Well, and you know, and I would encourage him to bring women friends home, and we would talk.
Wait a minute.
Yes, I did.
Now you sound like
But
swingers, right?
no, it wasn't swinging. It didn't go that far. We would, you know, you would just lay out how you couldn't go that far.
Well, you just said lay out.
You would just sit there and talk about what you could do. To, you know, like civilized human beings, you know, like you could say, well, I am attracted. I recall having conversations like this, saying to the other man, I am attracted to you, but I'm married to him, and he's not going to go for that. So
And then you went-
I thought we could just talk. Well, invariably, and then the other guy be going, what are you saying?
Making skid marks out the door.
He would be getting very
Is your
nervous.
husband armed? Is he dangerous?
Because usually this
Is he wanted
attractive
by any
guy,
of the police?
his idea of it wasn't talking, it was sneaking around and lying. And so when I would say, no, we don't, I can't do that. I made a vow when I married that I would not sneak around and lie about when I was attracted to some other guy. I would bring him home and we would all discuss it like civilized human beings.
Well, that sounds my first marriage. Obviously, she used to go around and get all my friends from high school and bring them over while I was at work and come home and go, hi, Ron, hi, Walt, how you doing, guys? Oh, you got enough beer in there? Can I buy you some more beer? I never knew that about this woman. I thought she just told me she was frigid in my direction.
But you see, he had a big problem there because he married a woman that had been very popular. She dated a lot of guys, and so she just wanted to continue on with the same kind of lifestyle that she'd been leading up until you married, right? Dating other guys. But when you came home, saw the evidence of this, and I'm saying, here in America, you have to, there comes a point when you might be attracted to some other man. So what are you going to do about it? And no, I did not want to lie, cheat. I wanted to discuss it. And and if the discussion, it just never went any further than a discussion, at least that would be better
Well, I discussed
than
this.
being just bored.
I discussed this with my first wife. I really did.
Yeah.
I said, we haven't had sexual relations more than 5 times, and now you have a kid, or we have a kid. And there seems to be a problem because there are other guys in my house, when I come home. And I said, the doctor said you are, what's that word they want to call it?
Frigid?
She said, no, but I want you to tell you this. It's nothing personal. It's just all you men.
Well, I think that he's very civilized.
That is a little
Very
bit late to
civilized.
be telling me that, It's all you men in general, because you just come over here and all you want to do is,
So,
Needless to say, folks, take it over. You got 3 minutes.
well, I just hated when I look around and see women or men, either one, that were cheating on their wives or husbands and lying about it. And I made up my mind that I would never do that I would just talk it over. We would talk it over. And we would try to deal with this problem like mature adults.
Oh, come on. When you're in your 20s, you're not even close to being mature.
Well, I was
Never.
mature. I could deal with it, but my husband couldn't, The drunker he would get, the more he went to, like, I'll kill you.
Oh, that's always good.
I will
yes.
kill you.
That's right. That's always nice.
And, I
That's
could
real
never,
mature, isn't it?
in all the years we were married, 10 years, I could never get him beyond that stage to where when I tried to be civilized, sooner or later he would get drunk enough that he would start threatening to kill. And this just stopped all civilized behavior. That's why I had to leave him. He wasn't civilized. It was impossible to civilize him. He just would just get mad, if I criticized him, said, well, you've gotten rather boring, and you've got to expand, you've got to be able to, I'm a person, I've been to college, I've talked to a lot of different people, I need to be able to talk to people.
It's the 1-minute warning.
I need to be able to talk to people. But anyway, this goes along with my philosophy of life. And in my first memoir, I start sort of, those ideas are, because obviously I'm not going to go the same route as my parents, who were some of the biggest sneaks and liars that was ever. I said, and they were constantly, threatening each other. I said, that doesn't work. Oh,
And so what do you
I just can't. I can't do
marry a
that.
guy that's just about as bad as your father.
I can't. Yeah, I can't.
Oh,
I
boy.
can't follow in my parents' footsteps. No. But that's what my life was about.
So look forward to the
Trying to
Look
be.
forward to the next 26 chapters
Oh
of the next
yeah,
volume.
yeah. My next memoir
Yes,
will be
well,
about
she-
how I actually had to try to carry out these ideas.
This woman had the audacity to ask me this morning, how much credit do you have? Because I need to know, because I'm
well,
going
he's always
to
saying
start publishing. I
he's
said,
going to
anything over 50 bucks.
When I actually tried to pin him down, he's like, well, now. Oh. But there's another alternative between sneaking and lying. And you get married.